My name is Ifeoma Ifejika, and I'm the project coordinator for SCIMA.
My name is Ifeoma Lagoma.
My name is Bob Friday.
Everybody, my name is Omele Chukwemeka.
My name is Engineer Angel Atta, aka Angel the Laugh.
My name is Evidence Collector Antra.
My name is Tom West, Princess Benedicta.
My name is Good News Biadio. I'm from International Secondary School and I'm in the Sickle Cell Prevention Program.
I am Dr. Obi Obina. Okay? So I'm here to teach you all about sickle cell and prevention of sickle cell. Alright. Before we proceed, I'd like us to take it the topic one word after another. There are two words there, right? What's the first word? Sickle. And what's the next word? Cell. Who knows what a sickle is? How many of you are from River State? Oh, very good. How many of you go fishing? Fishing, say the truth. Do you know that thing that is used to fish? What is it called? Very good. It's called what? A sickle or a fishing hook. Alright? Why is it called a hook? Because it can pin onto something and hold onto it, right? It has a sharp edge. So that is what a sickle is. A sickle is like the fish hook. Okay? Now, what is a sickle? A sickle is like what? Fish hook. I'll ask you questions when I'm done. Alright? The next one there is what? Cell. How many of you have done biology here? Who knows what the cell is?
Cell is the simplest and smallest functional group of the living thing.
With a round of applause for her. So a cell is the smallest functional unit of a living organism. That means that everybody has a cell inside him or her. Alright? So we all have cells, right? So when we say sickle cell, means that the cell is sick and looks like a fish hook, right? Hello? So when we say sickle cell, it means that the cell is sick and looks like what? A fish hook. I need 4 volunteers to come out here, please. 2 people from this school and 2 from this school. Come out. Come quickly. Just 4. Come quickly, don't rush. I need 2 females and 2 males, okay? Okay, very good. I need 2 males. 1 here, okay? Another male. Come, sir. Very good. Come back. Turn this way. Now, our body has cells, right? Like we all agreed. And one of the cells is found in the blood. Okay? If you get injured, what do you see? Blood. Okay? That blood has cells. Okay? The normal shape of the blood, the cell inside the blood, is like a donut. Okay? Ella is carrying the placard. Can you see? Alright? This is the normal shape of the cell inside the blood. It looks like what? It looks like what? Donut. Okay? Now, this is the donut when it faces you, and this is the shape of the donut when it's round, right? The donut always has a depression in the center, right? Where they put, sometimes they put what they put inside. Jam, very good. Alright? So that is, anytime you see a donut, what do you remember? A normal red blood cell. What do you remember? Again? Very good. Now, the normal red blood cell looks like what? A donut. We said there is a normal red blood cell. So after, the opposite of normal is what? The opposite of normal is what? Very good. Clap for yourself. Now, the abnormal red blood cell looks like what? A fishing hook, which is called what? Which is called what? Very good. Clap for yourselves again. So this is the shape of a sick red blood cell, a sickle red blood cell. It looks like a fishing hook. Okay? Now, Ella, can you please turn the back page? Now, this is an artery or a vein that carries blood. This blood, red blood cells, they travel inside what? A blood vessel. Alright? Can you see this? This is what? A blood vessel. And you can see all the donuts inside the blood vessel, right? This is a normal, healthy person. Okay? The normal ones that are like donuts, you see them inside this blood vessel. They are very free, traveling very free without any obstruction. Okay? Look at the second, Ella, raise it up. Thank you. Look at the second diagram. The second blood vessel has a mixture of normal cells and sickle cells. So what do you think will happen to the movement inside this blood vessel? Hello? What will happen to the movement when you have normal and abnormal?
And get slow.
Very good. Please clap for him. What else can happen inside there? Apart from the movement getting slow, what else can happen inside? You're going to have a lot of accidents inside, right? I told you that the sickle is like a fish hook, isn't it? So the fish hook is going to hook what? You get thinner. Not exactly. The sickle is going to hook the normal cells, okay? Hello? So the sickle one is going to hook the normal ones and cause traffic jam, okay? Have you seen, where do you have plenty traffic jam in Port Harcourt? Eh?
We have it near pepperoni.
Very good, near pepperoni. Eh? Near pepperoni at Waterline, Sabi Olobasanjo Road, right? So the abnormal cell will look like traffic jam around where pepperoni, right? Very good. Ella, thank you very much. Now, how does this become a problem to the society, which is why we have all gathered here? Now, everybody pay attention, because the topic says prevention of what? Prevention of what? Sickle cell disease. Okay? So now, this part we are going to demonstrate. The sickle red blood cells, they are represented with the letter what? S. Sickle cells, they are represented with the letter S. While the normal ones are represented with the letter A. Okay? Now, these representations are what we refer to as what? Genotype. Say it. Say it again. Very good. Now, how can an individual end up having a genotype that is described as a sickle cell genotype? Now, for you to be born, you need your mommy and who? Your daddy, right? Your mommy has 2 genes, 1 and 2. Your daddy has 2, okay? Now, it depends on what each of them has. These 2 persons, at this point, these 2 persons represent our mommies, while these 2 persons represent our daddies, okay? Now, anytime mommy and daddy meet to have a child, they will always bring one out of what the 2 they have, okay? They will always bring one out of the 2 they have to form a baby. So if daddy has A and A, and mommy has A and A, when mommy brings one A, and daddy brings another A. They will have what? They will have what? What that AA means? AA means that there is no sickle cell in the life of this child. Okay? All right, let's go back. Now, if daddy has A and A, mommy has A and S. Okay? If they meet for the first time, now, there is no particular order how it comes. It comes randomly. Okay? If they have 4 children, it is possible that at the first time they meet, mommy will bring S and daddy will bring A. And they will have what? A and S. Is it right? Daddy can bring A and mommy brings another A. They will have what? A and what? A. All right? Very good. Now, so long as daddy has 2 A's and mommy has 1 A and 1 S, the family is very safe. All right? What did I say? The family is very what? Safe. Because it is only 1 S that is in the family. If daddy has 1 A and 1 S, and mommy has 1 S and 1 A, this is a very important reason why we gather here. We are trying to get rid of this S, because this S is what makes everyone to be sick. Okay? The S is what makes everyone to be sick. So at the point mommy and daddy wants to get married, the first thing they will do before they say hello and hi is they will go outside and test themselves to see who has S and which A, and who has S and A. If daddy has 1 S and mommy has 1 S, what do we say to them? No, no, no. Okay? Daddy has to go and look for another mommy. Right? Hello? For those of you in secondary school, especially the ladies, by the time you get to SS1, SS2, SS3, or after your SS3, you get into the university and you see somebody that likes you and the person, and you like the person. Those of you undergraduates, please listen attentively. The first day you meet a young man and he says hello, do you know your response will be Gino? When the guy says hello, you say what? When the guy says hi, you say what? Type. Hello? When the guy says hi, you say what? Type. Because when the relationship starts, most times you never can hold on to yourselves properly and you get pregnant for the person and you know that you don't even know about your genotype. So if you are SAS, before the person says hello, what do you say? What do you say? When the person says hi, what do you say? Type. Before you get into any relationship, first of all, you ask for your genotype. Because if daddy has an A and S, mommy has A and S, when they meet, they will eventually bring 1 S and another S. Once you have 2 S in the picture, it is called sickle cell disease. What did I say? When you have how many S? All right, please give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. So the big question why we are here is to prevent the spread of sickle cell disease. And we have to tell you from the cradle, because by the time you become an adult, most times it is too and very late. So before you get into any relationship, the first thing you do is to check your genotype. When you're going into primary school, when you're enrolling into primary and secondary school, they ask for some tests. Please go home and tell your mommy and your daddy that you want to check your what? Genotype. For all of you who are here today, you have the benefit of checking your genotypes outside. And please don't joke with it. So the most important way of preventing sickle cell disease is to know your status, to know your genotype. If you know your genotype, then you can be able to prevent the disease very well. And the only way to prevent the disease is to make sure that your partner is compatible with yourself. Thank you very much for listening. Please, a round of applause for me. Question time. Anybody has questions for me before I ask my question? If you have questions for me, let me see your hands up. 1. Who else? 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, question number 1. What's your question?
If people are not educated to this and then they meet to have a child with SS, what do they do?
Please give him a very good round of applause. He asked an intelligent question. He says, if people who are not aware of their genotypes and they get married and have a child with sickle cell disease, what do they do? The first thing you do when you notice that your child, when you go for a test and know that your child has sickle cell, is to go to your doctor. You come and see a doctor like myself or any other doctor who teach you how to manage the disease. Because once the person is a sickler, you only manage the disease. Currently, there is a cure for the disease, which is called bone marrow transplant. But the only problem about the cure is that it is very, very expensive. However, those who cannot afford the stem cell transplant, you make sure that the child sees their doctor every month. The doctor will tell you how to how to manage the disease. Now, I hope somebody will ask me what I want to say. Let me hold on to what I want to say. I will complete your question. If eventually somebody does not answer the question, just remind me. The question what I want to say is about what are the complications of sickle cell. I just hope somebody will ask. Next question, somebody raise his hand over there.
Yes, my name is Oriprite B. Stephen.
Okay.
I want to ask this question. If the husband is AS, the wife is AS, does it mean that if they are giving birth, their fourth child may have SS, or throughout the children will have SS?
Brilliant question. Please, where are my volunteers? Come back. Now, his question is, if daddy is AS, okay? If daddy is AS and mommy is AS, if all the children are going to be AS, now this is what happens. For the first meeting, come. When they meet the first time, it's not a must that it must come in this combination, but these are the possibilities you have. When you meet the first time, daddy brings A and mommy brings A. You have a child that is completely free. Okay? Go back. When daddy brings S and mommy brings S, you will now have one child that is a sickler. When daddy brings S and mommy brings A, you now have a child this child is called a carrier. Okay? This child that is A and S is called what? A carrier. That means he's carrying this S gene. Okay? He may not be getting sick all the time, but once in a while, he may get sick because he's carrying the gene. Okay? So it depends on how many children they have. The possibility also increases by the number of children they have. Okay? So for every child they have, there is possibility of having either an AS or AA or SS. Okay? Go back. Okay, just still stand here. So if they have as many children they have, the possibilities of the numbers they will have also increases. I know a family of 7. 2 are SS. The other 5 are both AA and SS. Okay? So depending on the number. Some people may just be on, some people may just have all children SS. It is rare, but it also happens, especially when they are twins. You understand? The chances increases when they are twins. Okay? Because identical twins. When they are identical twins, the mother brings 1 S and the father brings 1 S. So that S will split among the number of twins you have. The SS will be shared among the number of twins you have. If you have twins, it will spread among twins. If you have triplets or triplets, if you have quadruplets, just like that. Okay? Because the father brought S and the mother brought S. All right? Next question. Okay.
If the child has S and the mother has S, even the father has S, what will happen to the 3 of them?
Well, that means they are all a family of sicklers. Okay? Everybody in the family has sickle cell. That's what it means. Any other question? Okay, please pass the microphone to her.
If you have sickle cell, what will you look like?
What would the person look like? All right. I'll answer the question after the next one. Let me take all the questions so we don't take too much time. Next question.
If the father is AA and the mother is AS, what would that child be?
Your question is if the father is AA and the mother is AS. All right. So you drop this and you drop this. Okay. If the father is AA and the mother is AS, they will have a family of healthy and carriers. Okay? There will be a family of healthy children and children carrying the cell, but they are not sick. So some of the children will be AS, while some will be AA. All right? If someone has sickle cell, the person will look absolutely normal. Absolutely normal. No difference between you and the next person. No difference. Now, I'm going to tell you about the complications of sickle cell. Okay? Because every part of the body has a blood vessel. Blood flows through all parts of the body. So that means that all the parts of the body are going to be affected. Okay? Now, the commonest complication of sickle cell is what we call the bone crisis. Okay? The person will always have joint pains. Like I told you that the sickle cell usually has traffic like pepperoni traffic. And traffic usually was as well. Is traffic was at the junction or a free road? Eh? Traffic usually was at the junction, right? Yes. So, do we have junctions in our body?
Hey.
Come and show me one junction. Where? No. The elbow is one junction. Eh? The knee is another junction, right? The shoulder is that. So, all the joints are all what? Junctions. So that when the red blood cell is trying to pass through the junction, it will cause traffic like pepperoni traffic. So anywhere there is traffic jam, the patient will be having so much pain. This is one of the commonest complications of sickle cell. Hello. The next they will also have is they will always come down with infections because their immune system is low. Okay? The normal malaria that hits everybody, that you take malaria tablets, when malaria hits them, it is usually very problematic. So any part of the body that there is a traffic in the red blood cells that are sickle, it causes a problem for them. When it affects the eyes, it can cause blindness. When it affects the heart, it can cause them to have heart attack and they fall and die. When they have any small cut, they can always have infections. Okay? So children with sickle cell are always prone to infections. Now the thing is, how can you be of help to a friend who has sickle cell? Because apart from preventing sickle cell, which we have learned, those who are healthy, you also have a role to help those who have sickle cell. Okay? How can you be of help to them? Whenever they complain of pain, don't take it for granted. Hello? If you have a friend who has and complains of pain at any time, never take it for granted. You can always help them to lift heavy loads. You can help them to do whatever they ask you to help them to do. You can always help them to call their doctor or call their parents anytime they have crisis. The crisis of a sickle cell patient, it is not something you wish even your enemy. The pain is crazier than crazy itself. The pain is crazier than crazy itself. So if you test yourself and you don't have sickle cell, don't just jump and say, hey, I'm free. I am AA or I am AS. I am free. If you know someone who has sickle cell, love the person, give them every attention. Because what makes them to survive very well is good family and social support. Thank you very much for listening. Any other question?
Some people I know, most of them, they have sickle cell, but they die quick. So I'm asking whether is it all people that have sickle cell that die quick?
Very brilliant question. It's not everybody that sickle cell that dies quickly. The reason why most people die quickly is they don't tell people that they have the disease. All right? That is why I said if you know anyone that has the disease, be a very good friend to the person. Because the person that may have died quickly, he may have been complaining of some pain, and they will tell him, shut up every time you are complaining of pain. You don't know that he's going through difficult problem. By the time they rush him to the hospital, it will be very, very bad. So the reason why people survive sickle cell is because they have good family, social, and medical support. Family support is that the family supports them very well, both to buy their drugs and to keep them very functional. Social support, nobody discriminates them in the society. They have friends, they can interact with their friends support them, their friends know when they have a crisis, and medical support because they always go and treat themselves. So with that, the person's lifespan is extended. All right, I think that brings us to the end of the questions. Should I take them? Okay. Come.
Which kind of pain do people that have sickle cell go through?
Okay. Next question.
How can sickle cell be transferred?
Okay. The pain they have is what we call sequestration pain. Sequestration means to squeeze. The pain is like when I can't explain it because I don't suffer it. When someone who suffers it explains it to you, it is more painful than pain itself. Okay? So whenever they have, so their pain is generally described as a crisis. Okay? That kind of is just described as a crisis. Whenever they are in pain, they call it their crisis. Okay? So the pain, when they try to describe it, in medical terms, we call it, it's sequestrating, it squeezes. You know, when somebody holds you in your throat and is squeezing your throat, that's how the pain is, or even more painful than that. The bad thing about it is that you can't help it. You can't help it. So that's why I said, when you have, somebody that has sickle cell, please be friends with the person. The slightest complaint they make, please take it as serious as anything serious. So the next question, if you check your genotype and you are AS, someday when you get old enough to get married, before you say hello to the young lady, make sure you try to find out if she is also AS. Okay? If she is AS, then you don't get married to her, because then you're going to have a child with sickle cell, and you don't want it. Okay? What do you give to people with sickle cell? You can eat anything, but preferably food that help them to build up red blood cells, like fresh green vegetables. Okay? Fresh green vegetables helps them. Milk and dairy product like milk, egg, and anything that can help them to build up their red blood cells. Okay? Soya beans, fish, anything that can help them build up their red blood cells. So that's why we are talking about family support, because the family will make sure their diet is well balanced. They eat very well. They should eat better than a regular child. Okay? They should eat meat, fish, vegetables better than a regular child, so that they help to build more red blood cells. Okay? Yeah. Okay. How it came about. When you're processing something, okay? If you're in this farm and you plant corn, okay? During the time of harvest, you will find out that some corns did not develop very well, okay? And you throw them away, okay? So the genes, for us to produce a new cells, some molecules in our body called amino acids, they need to come together in a particular order to form a red blood cell. Okay? Now, it happened that there was an accident along the line, okay, that made it possible for some of the amino acids to interchange. Instead of A to be in front, B came in front, okay? And the product of that particular abnormality was a sickle red blood cell. And from then, it began to be transferred from one person to another. It is actually only present in Africa, North America, Africa, Hispanics, Asia, okay? That's where you see people with the sickle cell gene. But in America and Europe, you don't have it over there. But they have their own diseases that are even worse than sickle cell. Have I answered your question? All right. Part of the message you're going to take to your parents is this. When you get home, tell your parents, ask your parents if they know their genotypes. Okay? If they don't know their genotype, ask them to go and check. Because most of them who got married earlier, they did not check their genotypes. They just got married. Even up till today, people are still marrying without checking their genotypes. Okay? So they end up having a child with sickle cell. Okay? So ask your parents to go and check. If you don't know your own, you go outside and check. All right? If you don't know your own, you go outside and check. Then when you get home, you tell your parents to come and check their own also. That is the only way you can find out if somebody is a sickle cell or not. I had a patient who was sick, and I examined the child and asked the parents to go and test for sickle cell to check the child's genotype. They were arguing with me until they found out. Even when the test showed that the child was a sickler, they did not believe until they went to 4 different hospitals and confirmed it, that the child had sickle cell. They had to go and check themselves and discovered they were both AS. Okay? She asked if a mother is SS and the father is AA, all the children will be AS. They will be carrier children. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you all are going to leave here a little more came in. Information now. Don't you? Everybody. And I hope that the biggest lesson, the greatest lesson you've learned today is that you must know your genotype and insist on knowing the genotype of the person you're going to marry in future. If you don't do that, if you don't marry somebody that you are compatible with, your genotypes are compatible, you might end up sentencing an innocent child to a life of pain. That is the reality. Everything he has explained here, this is what we are trying to prevent. Do not in any way contribute to giving birth to a child that will experience this type of horrible, intense pain. The pain, he has not been able to do very well. The pain is not easy. The pain is not what you can show your enemy. Now imagine you having a child that is 1 year old, and you know that the pain that child is experiencing, you could have prevented it if you had tested yourself and tested that you got married to. Will you be happy knowing that you're responsible for the pain that child is going through? Your own child. You cannot take that pain from that child, though. No matter how much you feel bad, no matter how many times you tell that child, sorry, the pain is there. And then you have it at the back of your mind that, if only I had tested myself and insisted that my husband or wife-to-be tested herself too or himself. And we found out that, yes, with our 2 genotypes, we can get married. So have that at the back of your mind. Okay? Make sure you live with this knowledge. And your friends that are not here today, you tell them, preach the gospel of genotype screening. Make yourself ambassadors. That is the only way we can stop having children with sickle cell disorder. If all of us become ambassadors of genotype screening, let us spread that message. Okay? The pain is something that the guilt can make you and your husband to separate. You feel very guilty. The pain is intense. Are you all with me? Are we going to take the message home? Tell our neighbors, our friends in other schools. When we go to parties and have fun during Christmas in the village, are we going to spread this gospel? That is the only way we will stop giving birth to children that will have a lifetime of pain. Do you know the only way you can get rid of sickle cell? Transplant. The minimum amount you need for one person is 10 million naira. Yes. 10 million naira. That's the minimum amount. So why not know your genotype? Marry somebody that your genotype is compatible with and prevent having a child with sickle cell disorder. Prevent bringing a child into the world that will be having pain from time to time and making you suffer. Because your child cannot be in pain and you'll be happy, especially when you know you could have prevented it. I'm stressing this point because now that you have listened to this, anybody that doesn't comply with it is guilty of suffering his or her child in future. Okay? So let us prevent that. Let's give birth to more gene-free children so that with time, the word sickle cell will be a thing of the past. Nobody will be referring to it again. When the right genotype marries the right genotype, the S genes will start reducing. And with time, it will be eradicated. Just like Rotary Club is trying to eradicate polio. With time, sickle cell will be a thing of the past. You'll just be reading about it in your history books. But all of us is in our hands to contribute to that happening. Thank you very much.
Yeah, once again, can we put our hands together for Dr. Obi and Madam Ifoma? That's the woman who just spoke with you. Please, can you just put your hands together once again? But mommy did not tell you that she's a carrier of the sickle cell formation. She has lived with it. She's a miracle to this medical challenge. She has lived with it and she will continue to live. I know a miracle is coming someday, if not now. She's 50 plus. Yes, she's 50 plus, but she doesn't look like someone with sickle cell. Are you amazed? You see what God can do? Once again, can we put our hands together for God?
I didn't want to mention that I have sickle cell disorder because my story will take more than 3 weeks if I start talking about it. My journey so far, in April, I'll be 53 years old. All through this time, I have had 3 heart attacks. I have had what the doctors call retinopathy. That's the blood vessel in my left eye just ruptured. Blood was flowing into my eyes. I had to go and do laser surgery. I have had 10 million complications. So when I talk about the pain of sickle cell, I'm talking from experience. And when I tell you it's painful, it is painful. Today, God forbid, I have crisis today. There's nothing like, oh, I'm used to the pain. Every time you have a crisis, it comes as a surprise. The pain hits you and you go, oh God, God have forgotten how painful this thing can be. You can never get used to it. I'm telling you people so that you will be serious in becoming genotype screening ambassadors. It is very, very important. And the pain I feel today is what a 1-year-old will feel. That pain that I cannot stand, that will make me start rolling on this floor and screaming and pulling my hair out. That is how an infant feels. The pain doesn't decrease with age, neither does it increase. The intensity is the same, but it's not something you can describe. Once you finish the crisis and you're telling, it was very painful. But once another one comes, you'll be like, hey, I've actually forgotten how painful this thing can be. You can never get used to it. Take it seriously. Know your genotype. Talk to your friends. Tell your aunties and your uncles. You know, if you have aunties and uncles that are about to get married, please pull your ear and tell them, have you done your genotype screening? Tell them so that we will stop putting children through the pain of sickle cell crisis and the complications. Serious, serious complications. What do you know about stroke? All of you know stroke is for old people. No, it's not. A 3-month-old baby with sickle cell can have a stroke. 3 months. Once the red blood cell sickle and it blocks that artery or vein in the head, that is stroke. You see 6 months old with partial paralysis is sickle cell induced. And that's how they grow up if they are not well taken care of. So if with sickle cell disorder, stroke people at all, it can come at any time. The complications are too many. Let's not go into it, but just understand that this is something we all have to take seriously and make sure we spread the message of genotype screening and making sure that each and every one of us at the right time will get married to somebody that we are genetically compatible with. Thank you.
Wow. I think this second part even scared me the most. I'm even afraid now. If you know your genotype, can I see your hands up? I was asking somebody outside, what's your genotype? The person told me PDP. I say, how can PDP be your genotype? You know your genotype, can I see your hands up? Genotype is not APC or PDP, it's not PVC. Okay, you don't know your genotype. Can I see your hands up? You don't know. Okay, in my own case, I knew my genotype when I gained admission into the university. Because as part of your medical test, I schooled there. So as part of your medical test in UST then, you have to do a genotype test. So that was how I knew my genotype. And the other time I had to do genotype test was when I was about getting married, because it was required by the church that you run a genotype test. So it's very important of our life, just like Madam Ifoma has mentioned, Dr. Obi has mentioned, that you know your genotype. Now, can we do something? How many of you would tell your friends to go and check their genotype? How many of you would do that for us? Beautiful. This is what I want you to help us to do. This event would not just end here. When you get to your classroom, ask your classmates what's their genotype. And if they don't know, please tell them to go find out the genotype. And tell them the things you have heard from this meeting. When you do that, you're helping us to spread this information across. That is one way to be ambassador of the message extended. We have in our midst Queen, Princess, and King Bob Friday. Please Hands together for them. Please put your hands together for them. Yeah. Can you just wave to our students and parents that are here? Yeah. They are in a TV reality show, just like you have Big Brother. They are in a contest, a TV reality show that is on national television in Nigeria. So they just came out for a break. They will be going back. It is called Strongest States in Nigeria. So they are representing Rivers State as the strongest state in Nigeria. So we wish them well. We pray that they come back home with a crown. They have come here to join us in this campaign. And as they go about their publicity for their brand, please, we advise you to tell your followers to know their genotype. And of course, stand for people that are going through the sickle cell disorder in all you do. Please, fill the form. If you've not filled the form, make sure you fill the form. Get to know your genotype. Your parents will be so happy for you to come back home and tell them you have done your genotype test. This test is very expensive to do, but you're doing it for free. You're going to know your genotype. You're doing this test for free. So please, take the opportunity and have it, so that whenever you're asked, you can even store it on your phone. You can't tell. You can store that on your phone. Have the memories there. Children, are you happy? If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, and you really want to show, if you're happy and you know, clap your hands. Okay, who knows how to dance here? I want to dance. Who knows how to dance? Who knows how to dance? You can dance better than myself. Are you sure?
Body too correct. Oh no, Eddie man don't forget. Moniko befu, oh collect, oh wale, oh wanet. Pakam body too correct. Say she love me, and you love it. Sensima, why they for Benzema? Why you want $1? Sensima, this kind dance you the dance. I'm doing the singing, you doing the dance. Why you wanna do me long thing? She open up sorry yo. Why you do me something? Yeah. Why they do me wrong thing? Show when I sorry yo. Why they do me something? Yeah. Oh collect, oh wale, oh wanet. Pakam body too correct. Oh no, Eddie man don't forget. Moniko befu, oh collect, oh wale, oh wanet. Pakam body too correct. Say she love me, and you love it. Sensima, why they for Benzema? Why you want $1? Sensima, this kind dance you the dance. I'm doing the singing, you doing the dancing. Benzema, why they for Benzema? Why you want $1? Sensima, this kind dance you the dance. I'm doing the singing, you doing the dancing.
Benzema, baby chama nama like a joke. Down, the back when all I want me can know. I need your body, your body from daddy yo. Oh baby, your body from daddy yo. Any meta, any meta, Boko, Shama one any meta, Boko, Saja Bawul any meta, any meta, Shama any meta, Boko, Dani Mama any meta, Boko, I go me really meta, yeah.
Befu, oh collect, oh wale, oh wanet, Pakam body too correct. Oh no, Eddie man don't forget. Moniko befu, oh collect, oh wale, oh wanet. Body too correct. Say she love me, and you love it. Sensima, why they for Benzema? Why you want $1? Sensima, this kind dance you the dance. I'm doing the singing, you doing the dancing. Benzema, why they for Benzema? Why you want $1? Sensima, this kind dance you the dance. I'm doing the singing, you doing the dancing. Benzema, why you wanna do me long thing? She open up sorry yo. Why they do me something? Yeah. Why they do me wrong thing? Show when I sorry yo. Why they do me something? Yeah. body too correct. Oh no no no, any man don't forget. Money go go collect, go wallet, go wallet. Pakam body too correct. Say she love me, they all love it. Sensima, why they for her? Benzema, why you want $1? Sensima, this kind dance, you the dance. I'm doing the singing, you doing the dancing. Benzema, why they for her? Benzema, why you want $1? Sensima, this kind dance, you the dance. I'm doing the singing, you doing the dancing. Benzema, why you wanna do me long thing? She open up sorry yo, why you they do me something? Why you they do me long thing? She open up sorry yo, why you they do me something? Oh wale, pakam. Say she love me, they all know that.